All right, update. 401k has been, the money's been taken out. Started trading this week with other funds. Let's talk about it. Made about $2,000 this week. This is before the 401k even hits, just kind of getting into the zone, getting into posting online, getting into my new lifestyle, I guess you could say, because the point isn't to just say withdraw the 401k and then simply just like hope for the best. You know, we're working with time derivative options, so we still have like some work to do. There's a lot of work that goes into this. Mostly doing this again too because like I didn't have time to do this before. But yeah, no, I got a lot of talk about like how I need to find a new job and do all these things, and I just don't think I'm gonna do them. I don't think I'm gonna find a new job. I think I'm gonna ride this out and keep adding videos, and maybe I could add some information that could help some people build a community, but we'll give that some time. For now, I'm just kind of posting me and having fun with it. But yeah, the idea of having a job, it's just not going to work out. It's not going to work out in this day in the game. You know, I feel like in my soul, I am like a 70-year-old Italian man. You know, I've lived like 6 lifetimes already. Been to family court, worked normal jobs, worked with family businesses, and I just don't think I have it in me to scrape by on, you know, for what I think is like undervaluing me. But I think we also determine our value, right? Like, we determine our value and we agree to certain things. And yeah, you have to be careful too. That's why I'm sharing this process. Like, I know not to get too, I guess, too into how much money I have now. You know, there was a time where day trading would seem to be like a lot easier, and I know how hard it is now because, like, again, I took a small amount and made like 500% in a week. You know, but that was with like a lot of different trades. That was SPX, that was QQQ, different sizes, different expiries for what I was feeling for the purpose, right? Which is kind of the angle you have to take this stuff at, because like, man, if you're just sitting there thinking that you are going to play these market makers and use the same formula over and over again, you are sorely mistaken, my friend. I've seen so many older people's accounts blow. You know, people have been doing it for years, and they're blowing mad money. I saw a guy on X that lost like 50K, and he's been trading for a long time. But it's like, man, these conditions are horrendous. You know, you must like, if you think you have something you can hold for a long time, you're taking a huge risk. Like, if you get 30% on a trade, you are closing that. You know. But yeah, I know someone who just got a job at $17 an hour. I made two grand this week. You know, I realize that money, like, I'm gonna be taxed heavily. You know, this isn't a time to buy like the Rolls Royce or anything. But what this really has to do with is freedom. You know, and freedom that is associated with this. You know, I packed up already so many of my hobbies, I guess, so I could just solely focus on this. I think that being people in this world where we have so many hobbies, you know, like you go to your job, you have a family, and you work out. I think those people get kind of crushed these days. I'm not trying to throw any shade or anything. I just genuinely think that it's kind of set up for like winner takes all, you know. And if you're not in a position to winner takes all it, you have to, you know, really just sit on the lower rungs and kind of just not like be the person who's dictating the shots, but I got to be the person that dictates the shots from here on out, you know. Yeah, $2,000 in my first week is pretty sick. But again, like I said, if I didn't have experience doing this, I don't think that would be possible, because it was like a couple of trades that things could have gone longer and I could have made more, but then there was also, I didn't have any losing trades. I think that's a huge important factor in this. Is like, the worst thing you can do is, you know, lose $1,000 out of like your retirement fund that you get day trading. You don't want to do that. Yeah, the other thing I have is I have this book here. This is where I keep all my stuff. So I kind of also dwindled things down possession wise, where you know, I'm living at a house that's like kind of like shared right now. I get left alone most of the time. People really don't know what I'm up to. I really don't feel the need to tell them but I like telling strangers on the internet for some reason. I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, so I have this notebook though, and I think that we're always on our phones and stuff. So I kind of keep like my data points and stuff in like a written form, or like mistakes that I have made, in the past week. I tend to write them out so I can know, like, so for instance, a double top. They happen in smaller time frames, and if you can catch them, dude, it's such a good trade. I'm not gonna go into all the details about that. You know what I mean? Process or whatever. And just a little bit of art too. Like I said, I gave up the art, but I still put some little things in this journal. But here's another page. This is all last week. This is all my trades that I had, and how much I made. So as you can see, the last day has Friday. I made $350. And I'm keeping track of like certain assets that I think that are kind of like moving in a channel. It's like I trade a lot of Qs and a little bit of NVIDIA. But kind of like the more you in Mu and SNDK, there's a lot of different ways to trade them. But I kind of stalk them. Like I'm always stalking them, and I'm always trying to take notes on like what their price is moving, kind of paying attention, because like for some reason, it'll be like everyone forgets about Mu, and then those expensive contracts that were like $2,000 go all the way down to $50, and that's your time to strike, And I think it requires all of your attention to do this, but I'm cool with that. I like spending my time this way. Feels like I'm on main character mode again, which is awesome, because when I was working, and when you're working, you are not in main character mode. And I'm not knocking anybody for working or anything, but if you're like a single father like myself, who has been working for a long time and has asked for raises and they didn't come, now is your time to move, and I'm not married, so I can make super erratic decisions, and no one can actually do anything about it, which is amazing. So yeah, I think if you would want to do this yourself, you have to have the perfect storm, sort of. I mean, you can do anything you want, right? I'm just saying that, like, if someone would like want to know more in depth of like how I'm kind of approaching this, I would say, like, yeah, I think that, I know a guy is going to his wife's hair salon opening. Bro, he's not fucking, he can't do this shit. It's just not happening, But the benefits that happen, though, I mean, I'm 34 years old, right? The benefits that happen if this works, which is going to work, I'm going to make it work, is it's a life that no one really wants you to know that you have the ability to get if you focus. It's also kind of tough too, because even the way I trade it's nowhere online. Like, my edge for this is like not online. It's awesome. Everyone's like hyping up futures trading, all these prop firms and stuff, and it's like, dude, this is not the way to do it, man. Like, your best bet is if, like, you're young, it's like certain kind of like things I would suggest in timelines. Like, if you're like 21, dude, go do some horrible labor job and just get like 30K together, and just don't have any friends, and just grind that. And then when you're done with that, you can slowly ease into it, and then kind of like set aside money to set on fire, I guess, because you're always gonna have to pay this tuition, which I'm about done paying, But yeah, so that's my update. CASHED the account. Haven't even touched that amount of money yet. Turned $300 and $2,000 in a week, and I'm gonna keep pushing it and keep giving updates to you guys. I post on a lot of different other social medias, and I've been starting to make like YouTube shorts and stuff because it's funny. I think I have a lot to offer to this space. I think there's not enough like hilarious stuff. There's way too much like others flexing like Rolexes and stuff, where it's like, dude, unemployment's really what you're after. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you get a nice car or whatever, that's cool and all, but like not going to work is the highest like IQ take from all this, is just to like leave work and never come back.